Welcome to The Explainer. Have you ever looked at someone and thought, man, they just get all the breaks? What if I told you luck isn't as random as we think it is? Today, we're diving deep into the psychology of luck to figure out how you can, believe it or not, actually engineer your own good fortune. So let's start with a really powerful idea from the book. The world's most successful people, they don't just acknowledge luck, they actively count on it. They get that no matter how skilled you are, no matter how prepared, you still need that current of good fortune to get to the very top. For them, it's not just some happy accident. It's a key ingredient in the recipe for success. To really wrap your head around this, the book uses this fantastic metaphor, the surfer and the wave. So picture this, your skill, your talent, all your hard work, that makes you a world-class surfer. You're on the beach, board in hand, ready to go. But what if the ocean is totally flat? All that skill is pretty much useless, right? Now, let's flip it. Imagine a huge, perfect wave just appears out of nowhere. That's luck. But if you don't know how to surf, that wave isn't an amazing opportunity. It's a serious danger. Real, massive success only happens in that sweet spot where skill meets the wave, where your preparation lines up perfectly with opportunity. Okay, so this brings us to a really crucial point. We have to kind of redefine what luck even is. It's not a random lottery ticket you just hope to find. Think of it more like an energy, a current that's flowing all around us. And the best part, it's a current you can absolutely learn to navigate. According to the author, psychologist Yu Minji, this is step one. It's the price of admission. If you don't fundamentally believe that luck is a real thing, you'll be completely blind to it. I mean, how can you possibly grab an opportunity if you've already convinced yourself it doesn't even exist? Your belief is literally what opens the door. So, if belief is the key that unlocks the door, what's next? Well, before you can start attracting luck, you have to get your mind right. It's all about creating the perfect internal environment for good fortune to grow. Now, this is a super important distinction the book makes. The difference between having a realistic outlook and falling into the trap of toxic positivity. A realistic outlook means you see the whole picture, the good, the bad, all of it. You see a problem and you face it head on. Toxic positivity, on the other hand, is like putting on blinders. You just ignore the negative stuff, pretend everything's amazing, and hope problems just magically disappear. One approach builds resilience and leads to real growth. The other, it just kicks the can down the road and usually makes the crisis way bigger when it finally blows up. Once you have that realistic mindset, you can start to notice some pretty cool things. The book suggests that these big shifts in luck, these major breakthroughs, they don't just pop up out of nowhere. They're often announced by some pretty clear signals. The real trick is learning to spot them. So the author actually points to 9 specific signs. It's a mix of feelings, events, and little changes that can signal a major lucky break is just around the corner. And as you can see here, these signs are all over the map. Some are internal, like your whole attitude just does a complete 180 for the better. Others are external, like, and this is a fun one, the plants in your house suddenly start flourishing. It could be a big life change, like a new job, or something as simple as waking up feeling totally energized. And what's really fascinating is that even going through an extremely hard time can be a sign. The idea is that hitting rock bottom is often the setup for a powerful comeback. All of these are like little clues that the current of luck is starting to flow your way. Okay, so recognizing the signs is great, but it's still a bit passive, right? So how do you go from being a spectator to being an active creator of your own luck? Well, the book argues it's a very, very active process. It really boils down to these 3 key pillars. First, you have to actively use your free will. Second, you've got to learn to trust your intuition, that gut feeling. And third, you need to build momentum through small, everyday successes. Let's break each of those down. First up, and this is probably the most important, is your free will. This is your power to choose, your power to act. Let's go back to our surfer. Luck might be the wave, but your free will is the decision to actually paddle out there and try to ride it. Like the author says, you can't win the lottery if you never make the choice to buy a ticket. It's your decisions that steer the boat through the currents of fortune. Number 2, you have to learn to trust your intuition. The book gives this amazing example of the Kellogg brothers. They were working with this really bland, hard granola, but their gut feeling, their intuition, told them there was something more there, some hidden potential. By following that hunch, they kept experimenting and eventually created cornflakes, turning a total flop into a global empire. That's your intuition spotting an opportunity that pure logic might have just walked right past. And that third pillar is all about momentum. You have to stack up what the book calls minor successes. Now, we're not talking about huge, life-changing victories here. We're talking about the small promises you keep to yourself, waking up on time, getting a workout in, reading a single chapter. Each tiny win builds self-respect and this positive energy. And that energy is what attracts bigger and better opportunities. Success literally calls more success to it. So, we've talked about how to create luck, but then how do you sustain it? Because it's not a one-time thing. It's about building an entire ecosystem in your life where good fortune can consistently find you and decide to stick around. And this slide just lays it out perfectly. The 4 sources that feed this lucky ecosystem. And you'll notice how they all connect back to what we've been talking about. You need good people around you whose energy lifts you up. You need good habits, which create those minor successes we just mentioned. And you need that good energy that comes from trusting your gut and making active choices. When all these things are working together, you're not just hoping for luck anymore, you're basically building a powerful magnet for it. So when you boil it all down, the ultimate takeaway is this. Luck isn't some mystical force you just sit around and wait for. It's a practice. It's something you actively build, decision by decision, habit by habit. Which really just brings us to the final, most important question. What small success will you go out and create for yourself today?